Hey guys, JT here with some thoughts on the Arrma Infraction. It's not going to be a final review because I still have a couple things I want to test with this car and some things I'm going to do with this car truck as well. So it's not going to be a final thoughts review yet, but I have run this car an awful lot. As you see here, it does not have the stock tires and wheels on there, and I'll get to that in just a minute as well to explain why I don't have those on there. But first off, with the radio, it does come with excuse me, the DX2E radio with AVC on it. So I apologize if I sound a little bit different. I am a little bit congested and stuff. But anyway, it does have the AVC, which is Active Vehicle Control. That helps with your car stability if you're running it and stuff. And I do recommend if you're running this at high speeds or doing speed runs, you turn the AVC to about, I don't know, about 15 to 20%, which is kind of where I have it right there right now. You can adjust that with this little knob that's actually right here to do that adjustment with that. But anyway, on to the meat of this whole thing is going to be the actual car. I love this car. I love the way this truck runs, and I love the way it actually looks. It looks like a kind of an on-road Outcast. That's kind of what it reminds me of, an on-road Outcast, where they kind of lowered it down and kind of flattened the body down. Give you guys kind of a look right there what I mean with this. So some of you guys may know what I'm talking about when you take a look at this. So, but this truck runs well. It runs real well, actually. With the stock tires, I'll go ahead and jump into that. I did end up blowing the stock tires, which you guys saw the way I was running this truck. I was running it like I stole it. So it's kind of funny. After a while, one of the tires did blow, but seeing this truck run and then seeing the tires smoke and stuff, you guys are gonna do it too. So just consider that and read your manual on the maintenance on the tires and stuff. They do suggest that you rotate them probably after every other run or every couple of runs, just to make sure they get even wear and stuff. And they are directional, meaning that you can't take this left tire and cross rotate it to this other side. You have to actually rotate it from the front to the back and the back to the front. So consider that. I did try several different tires and wheels on here. The GRP seemed to be the best, although they were a little bit smaller even than the stock tires and wheels and than these, but they did wear a lot less quicker than the stock tires and wheels, and even than these did right here. These are lasting a little bit longer than the stock tires and wheels, but these don't smoke like the stock tires and wheels, and these don't hook up as well when you're really getting into it like the stock ones do. These are the DuraTrack ones, but for about 16, 17 bucks a pop, that's pretty good for two tires. I think you're going to pay, I think it's 16, 17 bucks. You're going to pay about 40 bucks total for 4 tires and wheels. So that's a consideration there with that. And that's why I said this isn't the final review, because I'm going to go through some more tires and wheels and try to find the best fitting tires and wheels for this. Now, as far as the body's concerned, they did do a couple of things for this. I like that they put these guards on top, so if you do flip your truck, it just won't eat into the body. I would like to see something on the front of it. Maybe I'll take the ones from my 4S Creighton and put those little guards right here, but I haven't really flipped the truck. I think I jumped it once or twice, and I did kind of land on the front of it, did kind of scrape it up here, but it was no big ordeal. It wasn't like the car or truck flipped over on speed runs. Now, you guys know that when I did a speed run, I actually did a backflip, and the truck did hit a rock in the road, but there was also a stick that I didn't notice till after the video that was wedged in between the body like this, so it did catch more air inside of it. So that's kind of why the truck did a backflip there, but it did a backflip, a perfect backflip, and you guys saw that video and it landed, so I was like, woof, thank God. But anyway, with the body, I'm thinking about cutting some slits into the body to get some airflow in there, because I did have some overheating issues a couple of times of running this truck, especially on 6S. I didn't have any on 4S, but I did have it on 6S with the car getting too high. Now, take in mind, it was pretty hot out here. It was probably in the 90s, mid-90s when I was running it, so that does kind of play into it as well. But the truck did overheat on 6S, so you may want to consider that as well. I think I was running at one time the 27 tooth, which of course is not even recommended in the manual to run it with that high gear in it with this system like that if you're just going out and just doing general running and stuff, because it will overheat. That gear is made for speed runs. It's not made for just general driving. So they do recommend that you don't use that gear for. That's why they put an 18 tooth in here. The BLX system that comes in here, it does also come in their 6S versions. So I think that with this truck, if they do a version 2, maybe they'll do an upgrade on the system in here, because this is a couple of pounds heavier than probably their heaviest one, which I think will be the Creighton. It may be a pound or two heavier. So you have to consider that extra weight being put onto this system is and possibly can cause it to overheat. It just depends on the temperature outside you drive it and how hard you drive it. So you want to consider that as well. So I'm going to go ahead and take this body off real quick. Now, you guys know that I did mount lights on here, and at some point in time it's real dirty. I'll do a tutorial on mounting lights inside of your RC cars and vehicles. I had to do some surgery with this to get this to work, because the body is a lot bigger than my standard, of course, 8-scale cars and 10-scale cars. So I had to do a little soldering and stuff to get this to actually work, but they actually worked in there. And basically, you can get a drill or a body reamer and make holes and stuff in the body to actually squeeze the lights through. But I'll do a whole separate video on that, because there's some precautions you got to do when you're actually doing that as well. But this body has been designed tough. You guys see that it does have some scrapes and scratches inside of it. I mentioned a lot on the wheel wells as well. I do recommend that you go ahead, even though it has some tape that's applied in here, or something that's applied to kind of protect the tires when they balloon from eating into the body. I do recommend you go ahead and tape that up, because as you see here, my finger's kind of pointing through there. These tires, when I ran it, it did balloon up and it did kind of eat through that body a little bit. So you want to consider going ahead and taping that up just to protect your body, because bodies aren't cheap. They're about 80 bucks for a painted body. I think 75 for an unpainted body. Now, real quick, looking at the inside of the truck, a lot of these parts are compatible with some of their 6S versions, especially the Typhon. These A-arms front and rear are the same size as the Typhon, and the dog bones, I believe, are the same ones that are coming in the V4 or version 4 Titan, which is a lot beefier and thicker. Turn this light on, but it's really dirty inside here. So if the differential of the gears do go bad, you do have that option to change it out. And the same thing is considered with the steering components as well. Now, the driveline dog bones are a lot different. And of course, this shaft right here is longer as well. I thought it was the same length as the Creighton, but it's actually longer. So just consider that some of the parts are compatible. Some of the front steering linkage components, and then of course the A-arms and a couple other things are as well. But the shock towers and other things are different. So Arrma did go in and they did redesign, or did do a new design. They didn't just copy a design or make an extended Creighton and put some on-road tires and wheels on it, which is great. So as far as running the car, it's been well balanced, whether you have a battery on one side or on both sides. And the way they designed this is pretty cool, because if you want to put a larger motor in here, only thing you have to do is actually reverse the motor, unscrew some stuff, of course, and you can reverse the motor over on this side, and your motor will be pointing this way, because this motor mount is the same one that comes in their 6S versions as well. And you guys know those are kind of mid-motor mounted to the rear. So it's that same motor mount, except for it's just reversed and flipped to the front. And when you do that, you actually run the motor over on this side. You can put a larger speed controller and stuff in it, and your battery will be on this side. So that was a good design and good thought for them to do that, because I can't recall too many cars that do that. I think HPI and a couple other companies may make something similar, but their motor is just kind of mid-motor designed in the front. You can't actually flip it and reverse it to flip larger motors and stuff in it. So other than that, guys, I mean, this has been a good truck. I've run it just about every day or every other day since I've gotten it. That's why the tire stuff have been running down and been wearing so much. But these tires that I have on here, I've been mostly using these because I've been sticking to 4S, and I'm running a 22 pinion gear in here. That's kind of been the sweet spot for me for just general running. Now, my ESC, the fan did go out on the ESC. It is causing it to shut down a lot quicker when I'm running the truck. But I did do a quick call to Horizon. They're going to assist me with that. So I'll get another fan or something put up in there, because the truck, I run it for a few minutes. And of course, because the fan's not working, it kind of shuts down. And I have to wait a few minutes to let it cool down. And that's running it on 6S. 4S is a little bit better, but I'm going to cut some holes and stuff in the body just to get some more airflow and stuff through there. A couple other things is, of course, with the rear diffuser. Turn this thing, I'll get this flipped over real quick. It is a lot different than the Limitless, whereas this has this little slot back here in the rear diffuser that actually has holes in it. This one actually does not. Get this light going real quick. So I'm thinking about putting the one from the Limitless in here when I cut some holes in the body, just to kind of let some air flow through there. And you guys see my chassis, yeah, it's scraped bad, but y'all chassis is going to be the same way, so I don't want to hear it. Anyway, the way they design this, it does let a little bit more air flow through here, and it does help with the aerodynamics of the body and the car and keeping this car planted, especially when you're doing high speed runs. Well, somebody did 118 miles per hour with this, and it handled it. So the car is capable of doing 100 plus miles per hour. Not with this system, but you'd have to change that out as well. So. But didn't want to make this video too long. So far, my thoughts on this truck is I love it. I got this truck from Horizon Fest, and if I had to do it over again, I would definitely do it again because this truck is worth it. Some people are complaining about the price of being $599, but it's definitely worth it. Maybe at some point in time, Arrma will also make a roller version of this. I'm not sure, but they may do that at some point. That would also be good too, because some people do have their own electronics they want to put into it, and own radios and stuff. But we'll see what they do. They always surprise us with new and innovative stuff coming out. So anyway, guys, that's some of my thoughts on this. Put your comments down below. I'll make sure I try to answer some of them this time because I know there'll be a lot more questions about this truck as well. So, and as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos. Thanks for watching.